And when I took this training, most of the time you really need, most of the time training is an event, right? It's like you come in, you get all fired up, and then like a month later, it's like it never happened. And without the managers really reinforcing it and coaching to it, it tends to fall off. The reason I gravitated towards this training was because even without management reinforcement, it stuck more than most because it was so tactical. Okay. So with that, like, where are we right now? Because I think I want to always take myself out of Silicon Valley, out of San Francisco, right? Because I think that's a weird little ecosystem that is like, holy shit, look at all the innovation. But then you come one step out of that world and you're like, okay, we're back in 1985 when it comes to selling, right? So where are we right now with coaching, with technology, with enablement, empowering sales reps from nothing, no tools, all the way to fully automation? Like, where do you think we are today? And where do you think over the next 2 to 3 years we're going right now?
Yeah, so that's definitely a great question, because I think it's still kind of hard for people to imagine technology taking over sales, right? And I don't think it's going to replace salespeople. And so, what is the happy intermediary state?
Yeah.
And I think that what's going to happen is, there are a few parallels, right? So one is how people adopted the just-in-time concept into manufacturing, or how people adopted automation into aviation, right?
Okay.
So if you look at how manufacturing thought about just-in-time, it was two things. And one of that is, how do you identify what is the bottleneck, and then you try to improve that, because that's where you're going to kind of see the maximum gain. And the other part of it was to think of, how do you reduce inventory, right? And now if you were to apply the same things to sales, what you're saying is, how do I quickly identify what is it that's causing my sales rep to lose that deal,
Yeah.
right? And the second thing that you want to do is to make sure that that inventory of information or things that they need to remember is small, right?
Right.
So to your example of training, right, you wanted to condense it so that it's no longer a month-long program which people forget about. What can you give them as a nugget that they will remember,
Right.
right? And if you keep moving that forward, what you would want to be able to do is, hey, of course, I don't want to hire a goldfish for a salesperson who doesn't
Right.
remember anything.
Right. Yeah.
um, but I definitely don't want my sales reps to be, going through those 25 Excel sheets, looking at, hey, this is the list of integrations, that is all of my complex pricing models, because products have become so complex, right? So it's not about saying that sales reps don't need to remember anything and they can be stupid, but it's about saying, how do I enable them so that they can still deliver the best value to the customer? And I think in terms of the trend where it's going to go is therefore to make sure that information can find the rep rather than the rep finding the information.
I love that.